Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Citizen Tech Talk News episode. Guys, today, DG, what the fuck are you doing? Welcome to the episode. Alright guys, let's just get straight into this, okay? Because, fuck, I watched this afternoon. I've already been given the info drop for this, and I'm already was going to be making a video tomorrow until I saw the monstrosity of what DG put up today. Now, DG, mate, I've loved you. You're a fantastic bloke, etc. so forth, until recently. Mate, you are reigniting a fire with these white knights that nobody should be even thinking about doing right now by saying Chris Roberts has reappeared, kind of, and that Chris said this and Chris said that. It's not fucking Chris, it's Tony Z. Okay? Chris hasn't been on the fucking project since 2018 of February of 2018. This is Tony Z's writing. It's obvious his fucking dog's balls hanging off the back of a bulldog. Right, Chris Roberts cannot write in this eloquency, let alone the duration of wording used, let alone this one down here that everyone's been seeming to miss out on their video is this as well. This has been written by Tony Z under Chris Roberts' account. So what we're going to do today is just to clarify this and to make it very clear for those of you that still believe that Chris Roberts actually said something on Spectrum for the first time in history. I'm going to play a few videos for you. Now, this is stuff that I've gone back and found about Tony Z when he first kind of did a video with Chris Roberts for the first time, very early on in the piece. And I've cut it down just to include the important stuff that is going to be explanatory of who Tony Z is, how he thinks, what his mindset is, how he develops games. Yeah? And we're going to see the other side where Chris Roberts and, well, I've already done this video before, but what I've done is make Chris Roberts out to what he really is visually while he talks in the background from the Forbes interview he did with Forbes magazine with the Forbes online thing that I've already done a video about where you've got Sandy with her alcohol, right? So, guys, yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off that you shill tubers, including you, DG, are starting to cause drama because you've got nothing else to talk about. Fuck me! I was meant to be sitting down today doing some gaming videos, yeah? And I was just about to get into that, and I just happened to be on my phone and be on YouTube, and I saw it pop up, and I went, oh no. And you did. So, fuck me, DG. Now I've got to fix up the mess you've made by showing the audience who Tony Z is and who Chris Roberts are and how this writing here in both of these major posts are not written by Chris Roberts, because Chris Roberts does not obtain the eloquency or technical understanding on this level to be able to explain things. And you'll see in just a moment. So let's get to that part of the video now.
I tend to view games in terms of their mechanics, their fundamental mechanics. And so all of these games that I played, throughout my childhood and teenage years, I was constantly looking at them thinking, man, if I had the skill set, if I had the capability, what would I do to make these better? And Crusader fundamentally was, I always viewed it as kind of a derivative of this game Castle Wolfenstein from 1981 by Muse Software. And the technology at the time could not do the idea justice. It was really, really, primitive what you could do with a game, in those days. But the brilliance, of the idea just always stuck in my head. And I always wondered what would happen if, 10, 12, 15 years later, the farther I got from 1981, the more impressive the technology was, and therefore the farther I could actually push the basic concept. And so when I finally got my shot, when I finally had built up, enough goodwill at Origin to where, I was entrusted enough to do my own project, I wound up, pitching that game, got the green light, and, we started. Crusader 2, I actually wrote in the clue book. It's kind of an interesting link to Star Citizen. There were several primary features that I wanted to see in any kind of sequel. One of them was, and this was all the rage in the mid-1990s, was cooperative and competitive multiplayer. The other thing was, I mentioned that I had specifically put the game 200 years into the future so that the concept of space exploration, travel to distant worlds, would be, a realistic possibility. And so it wasn't lost on me when you were kind of, talking about this whole Star Citizen thing. It's just kind of funny because everything you'd kind of hoped to do, maybe one day, your dreams, is like, it would just slot right into a little tiny corner, of the Star Citizen universe. To some degree, it just shows how bold the ambition is of this game, that you can take something that, once upon a time would have been, a state-of-the-art product, and it just becomes a little teeny tiny piece of the puzzle, for this all-encompassing, world simulator that's being built. In 1996, it was already pretty much common knowledge that Chris was going to be leaving Origin, and that was creating all sorts of shockwaves because Chris had by far the most profitable group in the company. I had basically struck a deal with Origin and Electronic Arts in regards to obtaining royalties for Crusader, and that was promised for a long period of time. In the end, a year after the initial game in the series was delivered, I was finally told, no, all of that stuff that we've told you in the past isn't actually going to happen, and that it was basically the loss of trust that bothered me the most. And so as a result, I basically just resigned myself to finishing out the second iteration of the Crusader series, No Regret, that I was working on, and then I was going to leave the company. And so it was only natural to talk to, over the years, from when we first met in 1990, I came to know more and more about Chris, and so my respect over the years only increased. And so when he was going, I was definitely interested. At the time, they didn't have any kind of funding in place. And then he wound up striking a deal with Microsoft to provide the initial financing, wound up bringing AMD in as a partner later. We obtained the financing to start the whole thing up, and that started in 1997, first quarter 97. And Loose Cannon was basically, it kind of goes back to how I look at a lot of games.
Yeah, and so, but basically, when Microsoft bought Digital Anvil, they wanted to sort of focus on the Xbox games, so Brute Force that we're doing, and finish our freelance, and they wanted to focus down and not have as much in development. So they let us take Loose Cannon back, and we took Conquest Frontiers War back, and we actually did a deal with Ubisoft, which was a much smaller company at the time, for both the projects. But Loose Cannon required a lot more development to finish than Conquest did, and, you dealt with it for a while, but
I basically consulted, for a few weeks. I became convinced that the way that they were going about it was never going to work, and so I basically bid adieu, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, which was sad because it would be good, and it's still, like, to this day, when I see Ed Freeze, he says his biggest regret was not finishing and getting. He did say that after. Grand Theft Auto 3 was a huge hit, because Loose Cannon basically did everything Grand Theft Auto 3 did at a higher fidelity, and you had a lot more options of stuff to do.
But it's a large problem within the industry, which is you can't get the funding to actually do the groundbreaking, innovative games until someone else has already done it. But no one else can get approval to do it because no one else has done it before them. And so in the case of Loose Cannon, over and over and over, you're dealing with.
Well, we definitely dealt on Loose Cannon. The problem was that, like, on Freelancer, people felt more confident because of the background of Privateer and Wing Commander, but on Loose Cannon, they're like, well, there's no card game that's actually done that well. And you also get out and you're on foot and you shoot people and get in, and no one's done that yet. And so we're not sure this will sell any units. And so there's always this debate of, is it going to be a big hit, and whether you should keep on investing money into it, and so that was kind of why it was on. It was sort of, it became more of an edge case, it's sad.
It was compared over and over in terms of sales projections to I-76, to Midtown Madness, to Carmageddon.
We shouldn't even sell 100,000 units.
Yes, and that's exactly it. And so then they go, well, wait, why are you going to be able to do so many more? It's like, because it's a totally different game, but it's just like this one. This one's got cars, and it's so what's different from you? It's like it was.
So that's why we're crowdfunding now.
Yes, and that's actually one of the most attractive things, which is, for me, I kind of swore after that, I'm never again going to put myself at the mercy of a publisher that on a whim can basically, you know, due to their fickle taste, change their mind. An idea that they thought, you know, merited, you know, going through with at one point in time, to have their priorities change over the years, and then to have them, you know, decide, no, I don't really want to do it. It's one thing to write off the money, but you write off years of your life that you spend focused on these games. And that bothered me. I never wanted to do that again. And so one of the things that's so appealing about Star Citizen is you don't have that publisher that's putting you in this, you know, in this state.
And everyone out there can see the game as you're making it. So you're not going to do all this really hard work, and no one gets to appreciate it.
No, I mean, you got, you know, as of right now, you know, almost 500,000 people, and basically they're the people, you know, voting yes, no, we like this feature, etc. And I suspect that in the long run, those people are going to have a much more steady state of mind in regards to the development than any sort of executive, you know, at a typical game publisher would have.
Okay, so by now you've pretty much got a good idea of where we're at with Chris Roberts, where we are most importantly with Tony Z, and you understand that Tony Z is a very analytical IT person who's very focused on coding, creating big, high-fidelity experiences, you know, something that's ahead of its time, something that's massive, and something that just fits in as a component of Star Citizen, where more importantly, it is Star Citizen. Freelance is just the title that overwon his title, and, you know, because of the car game and all that type of jazz. The thing is, Chris did detract from him at every stage he could to refocus himself in the limelight as the director of Star Citizen, and Tony Z just kept on getting pushed back. You could see the frustration on his face. There's a couple of moments there I caught where his facial expression said everything, with him looking straight at the camera as well. So let's understand that from what we've come across so far, and this writing, this contextualized, heavy written text, all right, this is from here and here, that this has not been written by Chris Roberts at any stage. This is too complicated, too eloquent, too technically worded, too maturely worded for Chris Roberts as a person. He's a good talker, but he's not a good communicator, especially in written text. Now, if we go back and look at the letter he sent Derek Smart against his solicitor's advice in past, well, there we go. It's crudely written, unethically written, poor grammar, etc. so forth. Derek Smart has already broken that down into its elements in past. This is not Chris. Chris does not write like this at all, okay? So let's have a look at who Chris really is, and we'll go from there.
It's allowing me to realize the world in the sort of detail that I sort of see in my head that I would like to sort of feel and taste and adventure around. When I was doing Freelancer, I mean, we did a multiplayer mode, but it wasn't anything compared to what we do now. My roadmap on Freelancer was I was doing single player Freelancer first, and then I was going to do sort of the MMO version of Freelancer right after it. I just never did that.
Yeah, he didn't do that with Freelancer in the end because Microsoft kicked him off the project. He didn't sell it. He got kicked off. Just to sift through the lies.
Because I sold the company to Microsoft and then went off to do movies. But I always wanted to do that, and I sort of feel like I can sort of realize that vision, which is essentially just, you know, living in this alternate reality.
All right, guys, look, just saying it how it is. So that was the Forbes Online magazine interview with, you know, Sandy. This is the end of the Star Citizen thing, episode 3, blah, blah. That's Chris Roberts for you. He's all this and, you know, creating environments and, yeah, I'm up in the clouds. Oh, sorry, we're talking about Star Citizen. Chris Roberts is imperatively, incompetently unable to write things of this kind of caliber in technical depth and explanation, and people like DG saying, oh yeah, but Chris wrote it. No, it's under his fucking name. Hello, Tony has every fucking access to every fucking Spectrum account I'm sure he can get his hands on. He's just put it under Chris's instead of his own to make it look like Chris is still with the business. He's not. Let it go. And DG, for fuck's sake, do a follow-up video and correct yourself. Because what you have done is you have set up a fucking opportunity, a tiny one at that though, but that's all the White Knights need, all the Skitsiens need, to get some form of relevance and grasp back on the situation. You're creating drama where it's not welcome, in a dead project, in a dead community, and all you're doing is you're ostracizing and alienating your own core audience. I've been having a look recently at your videos, mate. You're not getting many views. In a lot of videos, I'm getting more views than you are. So what the fuck? Yeah? Pull your head out. Stop sucking up the whale's asses and Montoya's ass, most importantly of all, mate, because you were somebody I highly respected and now someone I highly despise because you are going against your own core values, your focus as a channel. And that's pulling the punches where you need to and also playing a little bit with the fluffy stuff too, which everyone loved. And mate, you have gone full Skitzien fucking side of the fence, Montoya, delusional fucking nutjobville, and you're causing trouble where it doesn't exist. Chris did not write this. He just didn't. Okay? Fuck me. I'm still so fucking pissed off at you, mate. Guys, look. This is not Chris Roberts. This is Tony Z. Tony Z has replaced Chris Roberts in this role, I'm assuming. Tony Z is one of the main developer, director, bosses of the whole fucking project, right? He's the guy who's done all the super technical videos, where Sean's gone all about all the cool stuff, and then you got Jared who's disappeared, oh, thank God, for the most part. Tony is the guy that's running the show, right? And the Colders have put Tony in place because the Colders are business people. The only thing I don't like about what Tony said is when he's left, you know, the producer production side of it, and, you know, you're set to these dates and you're set to these things where he does this one, he's implying dates, time frames, deadlines, and you know, obviously commission cuts and things like that for not getting work in on time or getting it in late, and having this excessive amount of freedom. And this is where the rot still continues. Chris is gone. Fantastic. Sandy's gone. Woohoo! But now you've still got Tony with that same attitude as, now I can just have the run of the show and do whatever I like, whenever I like, and it'll get done when it gets done. There's your concern, guys. There's your major issue. So what I want to do is just play this last bit for you now with what DG says. And we'll come back and we'll wrap it up. And I'm just so angry. I'm just so fucking angry. Anyway, on with the video. Moving forward.
What? Oh, hey. Well, Chris Roberts finally making an appearance. Sort of. We're going to talk about Chris Roberts actually replying to a post by Camural on Spectrum. Here it is. We're going to go over the post. We have been talking about how we really need Chris to be out there right now. In 2020, we have not seen him. We understand there's a pandemic and everybody's working from home, but we know that there has to be some way in which there can be some sort of presentation where Chris is up front and center, and that is what I think we've been missing for quite a while. Now, what prompted Chris to actually make an appearance? Let's look at this post by Camural. Cut and scene. So we see a mix of what Chris is doing, and he's really good at doing this. Like, Chris is actually a master at getting these concepts across from the very beginning kind of programming state and the programming vernacular, and then translating it to the masses. And, you know, this is what needs to happen a hell of a lot more. And what people have been missing, and possibly the reason why the public perception is turning sour, is because we don't have enough of this. And if Chris doesn't have the time to do this type of thing, then Chris needs to get the staff that can. What I described will be possible once we have finished and deployed the systems we're working on. I know it can be frustrating to wait for all this functionality to be online, but I promise you everyone is working as hard and as smartly as possible to get there. Soon, TM.
All right, so now DG is now saying that, you know, Chris Roberts potentially, and he did quite a good read through all of this mess of jargon and jumble. And look, at the end of the day, this is written by a technician or a technical person, a developer, and a management level developer because of the context to the information used. There's time been spent on this. Not something that Chris Roberts ever does. And even DG says, if Chris hasn't always got the time to do this, Chris has never had the time to do this because Chris is off in the fucking la-la land thinking of bloody spaceships he shoves up his butt. Alright? This is Tony Z. That is it. Now, this bit here, and this is what aggravated me the most about this whole DG video. He fluffied it, and he didn't actually look at this. The most probably important part, we're going to read through this together where no one else is willing to, you know, get into the hard basket. That's my job, hi. Okay, let's read it. I wouldn't normally do this, but if you're... I'll put this right in front of my face so you can hear it just like a radio presenter. Okay, I wouldn't normally do this, but I know you've invested a lot of time to Star Citizen, including on the testing and community content creation. So I'm going to take your reply to as a sign of frustration and try a little more context to help you see the bigger picture. What were you hoping to get out of the original post? I was assuming it was. I was wondering, we are almost 4 years late testing a few things and made a video. I shared information on where you are and what you don't see something that you thought you should. Part of the motivation is answering that I commonly see people assume things that aren't true, like the room system not being able to be in game because of aspects of the systems don't have the behaviour that they think it should. I wanted to give an extra context to the information so others in this thread had a better understanding of what's in, what isn't, and what it isn't, and what is left to do. Double fucking British language bullshit. If you want to encourage me to me or other developers to answer questions, it helps not to turn around and question people's professionalism and make sweeping statements. If someone did that to you in your job, I am sure it would be irritating. I have a thicker skin than most of the developers at CIG and realise that not everyone is speaking in their first language or realises how their phrases things might not have been the best. But in general, it's the best approach to things with constructive criticism, leaving the ad hominems out. You wouldn't be putting this much into something if you didn't care, so why would you put energy into posting something that a developer will dismiss because it feels like an attack? That sounds like Tony Z getting upset, not Chris Roberts. And it sounds like very much a Tony Z reaction, not a Chris Roberts reaction. Chris Roberts loses his mind. You know that, guys. I can tell you that being considerate of someone and treating them with respect will get you much further than being dismissive. The development team reads these forums and other places like Reddit, and the community's feedback really helps. But the feedback that gets actioned on, that gets passed around internally and is discussed, is the constructive type, not the only negative type. None of the negative type. Negative type, oh yeah, that's called constructive criticism, you fucktard. Oh, just saying something sucks isn't helpful. Explain why it sucks for that user and the ideal to potentially rectify it is helpful. My biggest disappointment in the modern internet discourse is that the significant amount of cynicism, especially on the forum, on Reddit debates, right? Except for what I do, of course, because I don't just have an opinion. I'm throwing shit at the fan and CIG ain't catching it. Well, where they're catching it is around the fucking face. And they don't like it. Bot nappy chain sleeper by CIG? Yeah? A little pat on the butt, and a little pat on the bum, give you a burpee, put your belly buttons, because you can't handle what adults actually have to say about you. Fucking grow up. Blah, 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 blah. Look, it goes on, guys. What CIG are doing, and look, I'll read a little bit more. So skipping through all that really, really heavy stuff of excuses and bullshit and hyperlinks, let's get to the bottom part. I sense from your reply to me that it's the time taken and priorities you're frustrated with as you feel like you're focusing on the wrong things. I can see this as a point of view, but you're looking at it from the outside without the full knowledge exactly what it'll take and the order it needs to be done in to deliver the gameplay that will set Star Citizen above everything else. This is a game I've dreamed of my entire life, or whole life. Now I'm in a position to realise that I'm not willing to compromise its potential because it's taking longer than I originally envisioned. Illusions of grandeur, people. Meanwhile, he's got a house in the Cayman Islands. He's got a mansion in America. Him and Sandy are over, so now he's a free agent. This is the game I've dreamt of my whole life, right? So if you've dreamt of your whole life, why did you make Freelancer? Why didn't you just wait? Okay. What I commit to and what is an internal priority is to improve the current gameplay and quality of life as we go on. As Star Citizen is already fun in many ways. No, it's not. Even in more buggy and not stable as I would like it, and just finishing off and polishing the basics will make it play as well or better than most other games. Delusional. Fucking nut job. I can promise you the gameplay I described is not a pipe dream, nor will it take 10 to 20 years to deliver. I describe systems we either have working or working on, and we've even shown early versions of some of this, like Fire on Inside Star Citizen. You mean, sounds like another event that was meant to happen on a beach, if you remember. Fire Festival!
All these models, like, in the Bahamas. The most insane festival the world has ever seen.
Island getaway turned disaster.
It became very barbaric.
Right now, we are the fucking laughing stock of everything.
Just wait until you see what you're getting yourselves into.
American rapper Ja Rule is in the Bahamas with his business partner,
Billy McFarlane.
Is an amazing entrepreneur.
He can convince anyone of pretty much anything.
They just bought an island. Pablo Escobar's island. Oh my gosh.
Ding! We're gonna throw a festival, yeah.
Within 48 hours,
they sold out. These guys are either completely full of shit or they're the smartest guys in the room. We were working around the clock, no sleep.
Billy's like, bring more workers. We need more workers.
Every single day it got more intense.
He just would not take no for an answer. And he just kept pulling money in somehow.
Desperate people do desperate things.
He was lying to investors and making it seem like we were making a ton of money when we weren't.
I mean, that's fraud.
We need to get the messaging out now that this is not a luxury music festival.
Oh my God.
There's mattresses all over the place getting soaked.
The save yourself mode kicked in.
Right, it's a free-for-all.
It became this looting mentality.
There's an angry mob, they're pissed off and they want their money.
Powerful models built this festival, and then one picture of cheese on toast ripped down the festival.
They just couldn't physically fit that many people on the island.
The event's co-founder is facing up to 20 years in prison.
If you had thousands of dollars to go on a trip to see Blink 182, that's on you. That is Darwinism at its finest.
The biggest event in a decade, I promise you.
I'll be there.
I can't promise you exactly what quarter it will come together, but once the roadmap web work is done, we'll be able to see team's progress to achieving what I describe in real time. Thank you for your support and passion over the years. I hope this extra insight was helpful. Where was the insight? Where was the help? Guys, this is the shit DG didn't show you. This is the shit Mike won't show you. I'll put a link to this in the bottom of the video, obviously. Guys, this stuff here, that's how Tony Z would react. And he's taking it personally as it's his project now. Chris Roberts would not have written anything that disgusting, that rude. Right? He would have lost it and gone, oh, look, you don't know what you're talking about. And look, you know, I understand, but, you know, and he'd go off on a tangent. This is Tony Z getting spiteful with somebody who's just pulled rank on him. And if you can't see that this is pulling rank here, And above here, if this is not fucking pulling rank, mate, this is what needs to be done. As I said, you guys, get on here and do this. You're fucking doing it, and look at how they're reacting. They're getting fucking triggered, butthurt, and fucking disrespectfully spiteful towards the people that are holding them to account. Tony Z doesn't want to be overheaded. Because Tony Z is as fucking retarded in La La fucking land with Chris Roberts and his delusional grandeurisms. What the fuck? So, someone from Germany, especially a German person, right? Because they are always so fucking on point. Love the German people, right? No shit. Always have loved when Germans get shit together. Look at the Audi. Yeah. Right? Even the Volkswagens, but still the Audi. Right? Porsche. Just saying. Okay, so, guys, look. This is a fucking monstrosity. This was to point out the lies, the smoke and mirror shit, the Tony Z posting under Chris Roberts' name and writing this shit to then come back and personally attack somebody because they don't see it like he sees it because, he doesn't want to be overheaded and put to account and actually have shit done and this roadmap's going to solve everything. No, it's fucking not. It's going to further convolute shit. It's going to fucking ruin this game and guys, it's fucking over. 2021. This time, maybe December 2021 when CitizenCon might actually not happen again. And we're not going to hear anything at all. What we get in the end will be another freelancer fucking slapped together job, fucking piece of shit, wasted, out of date, out of graphical fidelity, out of common sense and out of fucking mind. Piece of shit. That a few people, few hardcore people, like you still play freelancer, will play. And that is it. The mass majority will be out of pocket, and that is it. Either you show interest in the comments of this video, or get into the Discord. I'll put the Discord link in again on this video, and jump in, PM me if you need to. Right? Don't just talk in one of the main rooms, just PM me. I would like to join the injunction. I can list, of users. Your information will not be shared with anybody. It's more imperative because obviously attorney-client privilege, I can't have your information publicly shareable on the internet and to start with, to even have the injunction class action start. So any information you share with me will be held for solicitors. Those solicitors then will contact you personally and it'll be nothing to do with me aside from me just leading this up now. Okay, we will all have a chance to have meetings. If you want to make yourself more of a predominant person in the action, that's great. Work on the social media side, getting other people involved and stuff like that, go under an alias or whatever. But guys, it's time. The injunction has to get underway. This has to fucking start. If you don't like the video, suck a dick. Because you know what? This is the whole fucking hard facts and truth. Everything I've been saying to date, I did the Crossroads video, and here's your proof. Now people are fucking putting themselves under fucking other people's names just to fucking justify their fucking reason for being. And more importantly, fucking fraudulently putting themselves under someone else's name, CR, who's not with the company anymore, and then personally attacks people in a massive fucking slanderous write-up. Not one sentence like all the devs do, or the moderator, free moderators do. You fucking shill little fucking Skitzien fuckwits. This is Tony Z. No questions asked. Tony Z, get up, do a video. Have Chris Roberts there. Live stream it. Invite me in. Invite DG in. Invite Board Gamer in. Invite FTR in. Oh, most certainly, without question. Invite Saurus and Mike as well. And fuck it, Noobify. Yeah? And let's have it out once and for all on live stream, all of us. I don't give a fuck what time in the morning it is. I will get enough sleep and enough Barocca and enough coffee in me to get ready to throw fucking heavy punches. You want transparency? You're talking about explaining things from how things work on the inside out? Well, fucking do it! Stop fucking picking on people because they're holding you to account. Gutless. CIG, you're done for. You know it. Otherwise, meet my challenge. Get on the fucking live stream and let's have it out once and for all. Good luck with that, right? Yeah, I know. Anyway, guys, as per usual and as per always, peace out and cheers.